So what's happening today, Bob?
Hi. Well, today is day 10. So we're into double figures. Come a long way, actually. Probably not far. Well, we're about the halfway point, I should think. I haven't actually totted up the miles, but that's the way it strikes me. So we're quite pleased with that. It's a grey old day. Principal reason it's grey today is we had a beautiful little birdie came on board. He kept us company for about 36 hours, one way and another, had a little chat to him. And at one stage he was down nesting in the aft cabin. Cat was down there with him. Bird's dead. But it wasn't a cat crime. It was not a cat crime. The cat was actually sat not a foot and a half away from him. But the bird just died. I mean, it just was exhausted, probably dehydrated. Got lost at sea, I don't know, maybe came out on a ship or something like that. We don't even know what species it was at the moment or what brand of birdie, but we'll find out. But the bottom line is the cat's dead. Sorry, the bird's dead. Cat choked on the bird. Birdie's dead. So we gave him a sending off. Poor little thing. I just feel quite sad for a while. We almost had to break into the reserve supply of gin to cheer ourselves up, but anyway, it didn't matter. It's a long night. It's quite rock and rolly. The wind has definitely gone round to the southwest. Some squalls during the night. But the principal problem that we have is that Wally the wind vane isn't performing very well. I think I've said before that he's got a problem with the angle of the rudder when he's trying to put a bit of port helm on. Stacks of starboard helm, not much port helm, so it's quite tough, and it makes it very difficult for him to recover when he needs a bit of port rudder, so we have to help him along. So it means not exactly hand steering, but quite a lot of coming off course, potentially accidentally tacking, getting far too much up to the wind. So it's been quite difficult. Anyway, it's a night of not much sleep, I have to say. So coming into this morning, it was still very loppy. Wind freshened quite a lot. Don't know what strength, but it was probably blowing something like a good force 6, something like that, maybe into a force 7. White caps all over the place. So we stuck a third reef in the main. We did a little bit of filming while we were doing that, so hopefully you'll be able to see us mucking around with bits of string. And then when one of the squalls came through, it was a little bit strong, so we just hove to for a little while, and that works very well. To heave to as these things come across you, very, very simply, tack the boat but leave the head sail backed, and then reduce the amount of backed head sail that you have until she comes up nicely to about 60 degrees off the wind, and hopefully making very little headway. Make sure she doesn't forereach. That's the trick of true heaving to. Certainly heaving to in a breaking sea, that's very, very important. So on the back of all of that, we decided to reach out and took a bit of routing advice over the satellite telephone. We don't have an HF radio on here, but we do have an Iridium satellite telephone, very good. I spoke to a chap in America, very helpful, a fellow called Chris, and he told us we're doing pretty much the right thing, and just keep on banging east. Keep going due east. Don't go any further north. There's a high pressure system off to the north of us at the moment, and we'll just run into light winds. And certainly we don't want to head off south at all. So that's by and large, that's what we've done. We did lose a bit of ground to the south, but that doesn't matter. Better to lose it to the south than lose it to the north, according to the routing. However, this afternoon became apparent when we did our midday universal time midday daily run fix. I was anticipating we would have done a lot of miles, and we did do very well for us. We did 118 miles, but I'd have expected a little bit more. Previous 24 hours we did 151, so I would have thought maybe 140, something like that. We were certainly going along at quite a speed, notwithstanding the fact that we hove to at one stage for probably about 20 minutes. But then this afternoon, as the wind has died off a little bit and certainly gone round directly to the southwest, it became apparent that we were logging about 3 knots, but actually doing less than 1 knot over the ground. So we picked up a a bit of counter current, and it's probably just one of those big eddies that comes back off the Gulf Stream, was heading us. It's not what we expected up here at all, and that persisted for some hours. Checked it out on a secondary GPS just to make sure that it wasn't an anomaly with the GPS. Well, maybe an anomaly with the whole GPS system, but I think that's pretty unlikely. Because when you plot what you've done on the lat long on the chart, yeah, sure, you've hardly made any progress. So quite disappointing. However, that seems to have eased at the moment. Right at the moment we've got 4 knots hull speed on the boat, and on the GPS we're making 4 knots over the ground, so I suspect that we've come out of that, and hopefully we'll pick up a little bit of assistance moving forward through the rest of the day. Because the wind has been on the quarter, and because Wally the wind vane has been struggling so much, we decided to pole out the headsail. So right at the moment we're running on a starboard tack, downwind, pretty much downwind on a starboard tack, so the mainsail's out on the port side of the boat, but the headsail has been ground out into the wind on the starboard side, and it's certainly dulled the motion that we had, and it's made it much easier for Wally because he's not having to helm so much, he's not fighting so much as the boat tries to round up towards the wind. I did a solo transatlantic on this boat a few years ago. Came across from the Canary Islands to St. Lucia in the Caribbean, or the Caribbean for all of our American viewers, and it took about 26 days, and probably for about 2/3 of that I was poled out. I was exactly the sail plan that we have at the moment, so it's a great way to do it. So the rest of today's vlog, really, it's all about cat pea curry and raw water. Fresh water, rainwater, not raw water, rainwater. Cat pea curry and rainwater. If you have a cat on your boat, sooner or later you are bound to embrace a catastrophe. And we've had our fair share with Mr. Bigglesworth. He's pooed where he shouldn't have pooed, and he's peed a couple of times where he shouldn't have peed. Earlier today he tried to pee in our shoes at the bottom of the companionway hatch here. Just missed our shoes. But he did do a whacking great big pee on the floor, it trickled down into the bilge. These are the trials and tribulations of pet ownership on a sailing yacht. He's actually, by and large, very, very good. Goes all the way down, staggers all the way down, sometimes falls down so he can get to his litter tray. But on this occasion he was already down there, but for some reason, best known to himself, decided to pee on the floor. I don't know, maybe it's... maybe he's reaching that time of life. I dare say I'm getting quite close to that age myself. So, curry. Last night we had a great curry. Despite the rocking and the rolling, we managed to get a bit of vindaloo on some rice, boiled up some rice. It was actually very nice. Nice rice, vindaloo curry. Absolutely wonderful. It's always a great staple on the sailing yacht is curry. Just chop it up, or whatever you got, just bung it in a pot, put the lid on, let it simmer. Rice is very easy to do. And that's what we had last night. And finally, rainwater. We've been fretting just a little when it was when we didn't have any wind, so we have a limited carrying capacity at the moment for fresh water, and we're certainly used pretty much half of everything we have on board. But it dumped down with rain this afternoon, and Nikki quickly started collecting some off this thing here, our cockpit awning. It's dribbling off the back, and I jumped on deck and went to the mainsail, and it was dribbling out from under the boom. So tasted it, it's completely fresh, and we put some gallons anyway. I wouldn't say several gallons, but we certainly put in 15 minutes we put about 3 gallons into the 3 or 4 gallons into the water tanks, which is great because for us, even living vicariously, that's at least 2 days supply, and 4 days supply if we're very careful. So there you go, collecting rainwater. We now need to rig up a system whereby we can do that, so we're not running around with jugs and saucepans and that type of thing. Another great day in the grey North Atlantic. Getting closer to the Azores, every day. What a delight. And it's been a delight to be your host on this vlog, day 10 aboard the good ship Koru. See you later.